That's tomorrow. And that is it for us today. Okay, I don't know. Whatever it is, it's not right on the teleprompter. I don't know what that is. I've never seen that.
No, there it is. We are going to do Sting, yeah.
Okay, but yeah, I can't read it. There's no words on it.
Okay. Ready? Sure.
There's no words there. To play us out. What does that mean? To play us out.
Sting is going to do. It's a video. Sting video. Okay.
What is
for credits?
I don't know what that means. To play us out. What does that mean? To end the show?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, go.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it.
Okay. In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a. I can't do it.
Okay.
We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
Right.
Fucking thing sucks.
In 5, 4, 3.
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. I'm Bill O'Reilly. Thanks again for watching. We'll leave you with Sting and a cut off his new album. Take it away.
Do it! Just do it! Don't let your dreams be dreams. Yesterday, you said tomorrow. So just do it! Make your dreams come true! Just do it!
Tú eres tan romántico molestando con una vipa. Me preguntas si te quiero. Yo te digo que no estoy lista y no quiero comenzar. No hay nada que pensar. Yo te dejaré atrás. Mientras gano más y más. No estás en mi nivel y tú no eres obligación. No estás motivada y tú aburres mi corazón. Eres un idiota sin inteligencia y razón. Entonces déjame tranquila y te escriba tu canción. Tú eres tan romántico molestando con una vipa. Me preguntas si te quiero. Yo te digo que no estoy lista y no quiero comenzar. No hay nada que pensar. Yo te dejaré atrás. Mientras gano más y más. No estás en mi nivel y tú no eres obligación. No estás tú aburres mi corazón. Eres un idiota sin inteligencia y razón. Entonces déjame tranquila mientras escriba tu canción. Estoy aquí a disfrutar. Estoy aquí pero quiero gozar. Si quieres a mí pero vamos a bailar. Cintura a cintura papi tra tra tra. Bailando, gozando y me gusta tomar. Pero no quiero pendejos que no quieren respetar. Déjame pendejo papi ya no más. Déjame pendejo papi ya no más. Estoy aquí a disfrutar. Estoy aquí pero quiero gozar. Si quieres a mí pero vamos a bailar. Cintura a cintura papi tra tra tra. Bailando, gozando y me gusta tomar. Pero no quiero pendejos que no quieren respetar. Déjame pendejo papi ya no más. Déjame pendejo papi ya no más.
Just kidding. I was gonna just put the dog cam up.
The dog cam. Love it.
New dog cam. Who this?
That should be our new intro. Just the dogs.
Just the dogs. Yeah, I had that there. All right, let's get them out of there while they're scratching themselves. What is up, mi gente? It is your boy Lou Martinez, aka Big Cheap Burrito, live with you somehow on a Thursday at 8 in the morning, California time.
8 in the morning. Look at us waking up early and being productive. What's up?
Look at us adulting, as the kids say. Live with you, San Diego, California, Chula Vista, the Burrito Lounge, Mi Gente Show. But good reason to be live early in the morning because we have a guest from across the pond.
Across the pond. I'm excited about this one.
I almost put the Lizzie in the box intro, but I was like, I don't know how she feels about the whole Lizzie in the box thing. So
we should ask her.
We should ask it. Ask that to her question. So I had seen this guest of ours on a Poly Latino Slant show. And she was talking about her books, which are based, one of her books, which is based on the character Vasquez, which was the Mexican American chick from the first Alien movie, and who was kind of a badass. And she wrote a whole book around her as a character, which I thought was really cool. And so we've been trying to schedule her on, but she is in the UK live today, early evening for her. But one of let me try that again. But one, thanks for coming on for V Castro.
Yeah.
Hello. Okay.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me. An award for best intro montage goes to Mi Gente Show.
Thank you. Thank you.
We did something right. Yeah.
Honestly, okay. Love that Bill O'Reilly. And B, I think that song is going to be in my head for like forever.
Right? It's been stuck in my head ever since we put it on.
I love that. It's fabulous. Thank you so much. I love that. That was like classic.
Thank you. Shout out to our friend Kurt Greenwan, who I think he found those vocals like on a website where you can find like recordings and stuff like that, and then he added the music to it. So
I love that. That was fantastic.
for a non-Latino, he does have a lot of flavor. So
I mean that was caliente.
Yeah, he gets the honorary spicy award for for Latinidad. All right, well, V or Violet, thank you for joining us from the UK.
Thanks for having me.
Let's jump right into it. The book that's out now is called Vasquez, right?
Yep.
And it's
Aliens Vasquez,
and it's based on the, a huge franchise. What differentiate? Do you consider this fan fiction? How do you define the difference between like fan fiction and in a book like this that takes one of the characters and sort of builds upon it? What's the difference in those two genres, do you think?
Well, I mean, a piece of fan fiction, anybody can write it, and you can kind of like do whatever you want with it. You can give it to your friend. You can put it on, a website or your own website or on a blog. Whereas this, I was paid by the license holder, Disney, to write the book and to flesh out the characters. So I had to adhere to the canon, the existing canon, and then get approval for sneezing or scratching my nose or anything.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So it was, it's an official book. It's an official story, and everything in there is now canon. This is the Vasquez story, which I think is fantastic, and I'm really honored and proud, as a Latina, to write this Latina story and to give those that authentic voice and background. So yeah, that's kind of what makes it different. It is official.
Does that add more pressure, the fact that you had to like get approval and stuff like that, or did you feel like you had creative liberty?
I had some creative liberty, but again, there are some things, again, it's not the xenomorphs are not my creation, and neither is Vasquez. So you do have to stay within certain parameters, but basically, they said, okay, as long as you do this, this, and this, and this, that's fine. And so I was really able to get creative, especially when it came to her personality, her, certain aspects of her background, certain things I couldn't change that were already stated about her. But yeah, it was nice to show her growing up and her children growing up in a Latino household. And yeah, that was important to me.
Absolutely. And the back and forth, is that multiple rounds of like, oh, highlight this, we don't like this, multiple rounds of that, or after they give you like a long list at the beginning, was it pretty straightforward?
I mean, it was pretty straightforward because there's not a lot about her, but enough in the xenomorph kind of world where, I had to kind of, okay, these are certain dates, these happened, this things happened. But yeah, I mean, I had to write a really hefty outline, and that had to get approval. And once the outline was approved, then it was fine.
Oh, nice. Ooh, did they make you rewrite anything?
I had to take a little bit of sex out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. They were like, can we be more just suggestive than graphic? And I was like, okay.
But why? Why?
Exactly. I know. I mean, it's spicy.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was fun to write, and but yeah, that was one thing. But other than that, it was a really great experience. I'd love to write another. So hopefully that will happen soon. And yeah, it's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, but when you say like, so did they at any point test your knowledge of, like you said, the Aliens sort of franchise universe or anything like that
Nope.
to be like you are worthy, or it was like, hey, I got this idea, go for it?
Yeah, it was basically an introduction by someone who wrote for them before and said, this writer has this fab idea. You got to listen to it. So I pitched, and hey,
Loki, what's
Polly,
up?
what's up, homie?
Mm.
Hey, yeah. So he made the introduction, and then we, went from there with the editor and did the outline, kind of talked about the idea, and yeah, it just went from there.
Absolutely. So we always want to try to get into people's journeys and to where they are and production wise. So when did you begin to realize that storytelling was what you were passionate about? Was that something that happened early on, an essay in school, a short story you wrote, or are you just telling jokes or stories? Where did that originate for you?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in a Latino household and we had loads of stories. I mean, you guys have all heard of La Lechuza, La Llorona,
Mm.
all of these, lots of urban legends in Texas. And I've always loved books and always been a bookworm. And so I, wrote little stories when I was a kid, just plain and simple, you know, nothing major. And then as I got older, I was still always a bookworm, still always reading. But it wasn't until my 30s, actually, that I thought, you know what? I really need something in my life. And there is this passion inside of me, this part of me I haven't really allowed to evolve or allowed to just be. And so I started writing. And once I wrote that first book, it just, I couldn't stop. And um, it just took off. So that was 2016, 2017.
Mm. Was
Yeah.
that the Hairspray and Switchblades book?
That actually, the first book I wrote was a Latina vampire book called Maria the Wanted. And fingers
Oh.
crossed something will happen with that. And then it was Hairspray and Switchblades. And then, yeah, it just kind of kept on. It just snowballed. And it was great that it happened that way. Because you get to know more people in the community,
Mm.
and also finding my own voice, saying, hey, there's all of these different things in horror, in science fiction, in ghost stories. But what about our stories? What about where we come from? What about our experiences? And seeing things from a different perspective or different mythologies. So most of my books incorporate Aztec mythology and gods and goddesses. It's really rich, and colonization in itself is a horror story. The things that happen to our people early on. I mean, that's during the conquest. That is horror. And so, I try to weave all of those different things together and bring characters. How do those experiences make us who we are today?
Mhm.
As brown women, as brown men, our job, what we choose to do, how we're treated in life. How is that reflected? And how can we look back to have a better future or to know more about ourselves? So that's like what I like to write about. And it's just been an amazing journey to like let that flow.
Yeah. Ooh, it's layered. It's juicy. I love it.
It is.
Sophia did go on record with me saying that if there was a movie that she would shave her head to play Vasquez. So
Yes.
so she,
Ooh. I
I
know,
was
honestly, you could
Are
be
you
her.
thinking? Are you thinking about making like this into a movie or something, or any of your books?
You know what? Okay, so Aliens, it's out of my hands completely.
Oh,
That is for the studio. They have to decide that. If they want to make it into a film, it's them, and then they would. I hope, approach me to like be part of it in some capacity. I would
Yeah.
absolutely love that because I think it's something that would really resonate with people now.
Mhm.
And it would be fun. It would just be
Yeah.
fun to because we haven't had an aliens film in a long time. So it's kind of like, come on, guys, it's now o'clock. Let's do
Yeah.
this.
Right.
I
And
know.
as far as making my other books into films, um, man, girl, I'm manifesting that shit.
Yes, te digo cuál. I wanted the one that I saw, The Haunting of Alejandra. I was like, can I be cast as Alejandra, please? Because like that
Oh
sounds
my God.
amazing and horrific. La Llorona, like the whole concept just got me.
Honestly, so Alejandra, which is I'm so honored. It was just shown on Today, like the Today Show, for one of the books to look forward to next year.
Really? Congrats.
Yeah, thank
Oh my
you.
God.
So that comes out in April. But yeah, again, that's like my, we all have heard about La Llorona. But
Mhm.
what's the story behind the story? Because who told that story? Where did it originate? And what would cause a woman to do that? Like go
Mhm.
to that extreme. And so it really talks about mental health and, the toll that trauma takes,
Yeah.
on people. And so, yeah, and generational trauma. So
Yeah.
it was a really, it was a hard book to write, but one that I needed to write for myself
Mhm.
and hopefully to help others, to know that, if you are going through something, there is help and you're not alone.
Oh.
But yeah, yeah.
That's good. Oh, I'm excited. And that drops on April, you said, of
Yeah, that's in
2023?
April. Yeah.
Okay.
That's in April. Yeah, that drops in April.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, as a filmmaker and a writer, sometimes when you're writing something, because people ask you, what's the theme of this, what's the theme of that, what were you conscious of the themes that you were sort of addressing here? But I myself find that until I get a first draft out or until I write the movie or the story, I don't know what the actual themes are until sometimes somebody else sees it, like with Slapworthy, the movie that Sophia was in with us. Like
Ooh.
it took somebody to take a look at it and be like, oh, you're talking about this and this here, and then you sort of go back. For yourself, are you, because you're talking about all these important things to you, being a Latina, growing up, sort of representing the culture, all this stuff. Do you go more into it wanting to force these themes into what you're writing, or do you write the story, then sort of take a look at it, figure out what the themes are that you're saying, and then sort of expand on those?
Yeah, I just let the story flow. If I'm feeling a certain way, and growing up, I had a lot of things to work through. A lot of culturally, identity, being Mexican American. It's like, well, where do you fit in? Who are you? Different aspects of trauma, growing up with like, and how do you communicate those things? And so a lot of times it just comes out in my writing. It just, the story is just that. And
Mhm.
yeah, so sometimes I say, you know what? I'd like to write about that theme, but I don't consciously write a story around it. It just ends up, it's something that's there. And I guess the subconscious works through it and creates these characters in this dialogue. And and yeah, so I think it's just I let the story kind of flow and follow through.
That's awesome.
Absolutely,
Do you
yeah.
find it that it's like helpful to work through trauma, generational trauma or so, to write about these topics?
100%. Like Alejandra was just, I remember writing it and being in tears at some points, like really like heart-wrenching moments. But it had to come out. I had to write about these things in that moment.
Mhm.
And again, the Queen of Cicadas is about a hate crime in 1950s Texas. And that was just born of when I literally saw the story, the entire story, when it was announced that Jordan Peele was remaking Candyman.
Mhm.
And I thought, shit, we need a Latinx Candyman.
That would be so
And
cool.
so
We
I
really
wrote
do.
Queen of the Cicadas.
El
based
paletero.
on, because I became, my grandparents were farm workers.
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's do this. And I just wrote this whole Latinx Candyman based on,
Let's
yeah.
explore.
Yeah. Sophia, you would be a great Milagros.
Ooh, I'm in. Let's
Or a
make it a
Belinda.
film.
You'd be a great Belinda. Well, you're very young for Belinda, but yeah, we could put a few creases here.
She's
But
Thank
sneaky
you,
old.
thank you. I know I'm sneaky. Thank you. I
no,
feel
but
so
honestly,
old,
you
but I
would
look
you
young.
would be an amazing Milagros.
I am in. Don't threaten me with a
Don't
good
threaten
time,
me with-
because I will do it.
And I will direct
Honestly.
I will direct for scale.
Nadie te invitó, Luis. Nobody invited you.
All right, I'm just saying. I'm putting these connections together. All right,
All right,
we
we're
are live.
manifesting.
We are live with V Castro straight from the UK. You can find more about her by going to vcastrostories.com.
Yep.
And you can order her book, Aliens Vasquez, The Hunting of Alejandra, and others, Mestiza Blood, Queen of the Cicadas, Goddess of Filth. Yeah, a lot of cool stuff happening here. Thank you for everybody that's tuning in. Latino Slam. Polly says, I've read 2 of B's book now. Highly recommend her work, people.
Oh, thank you.
Def Kiss 83 says, just tuned in halfway through Alien Vasquez. Great stuff. Want to check out
Thank
the rest of her
you.
books?
Amazing.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
And Jason G. What's up, my buddy?
Good
Jason G.
morning.
What's going
Good
on, man?
morning. Good
Jason G.
morning.
Do me a
It's like
favor,
a
guys.
sun is setting over there with me.
And like you guys are streaming early. You should do this more
I love
often.
it. Literally, the sun is setting, and I'm like, good morning, everybody. But it looks like it could be the sunrise.
Honestly, yeah.
Guys, if you
I
could
love
help
it.
me out, we're testing out a new giveaway feature. So if you're joining us in the chat, type in hashtag Vasquez, and we're gonna give away some more 2 a.m. burrito stickers later. So in terms of those themes and stuff like that, you're writing stories. When do you find your first success that sort of legitimizes kind of what you've wanted to do? When was it, like a writing competition? Was it a published short story or something? When did you begin to? When did the desire to tell stories and to sort of bring all this cultural and to reflect on this turn into you actually feeling like it was happening for you?
So, my first book, Maria the Wanted, I felt very strongly about and still have a very strong emotional tie to it. And I could not get it published at all, about this Latina vampire who listens to Selena Quintanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, who
Mhm.
doesn't want this?
Exactly. It's necessary.
And it was slow because I ended up saying, screw this, I'm just going to do it myself, right? But it got my foot in the door, and I started meeting people and publishers, and it built my confidence. But I think when I really felt like, okay, was when I Goddess of Filth started really kind of making a little headway. And then the Queen of the Cicadas, and then they were both nominated for Bram Stoker Awards. And it just kind of, but it's like in any industry, you're always building up on it. You're always having to create more, promote more. And I still feel like I've just barely scratched the surface. I have so many ideas, so many books in me, and still feel like there are so many more opportunities for expansion. So I don't know that, like, have you made it yet? I don't know, because I still feel like, okay, come on now.
Well, I mean, the meeting with Disney might help, right?
You know what? When I am sitting in that theater looking at and watching that film of my book on film, then I'll be like, holy shit. That is
gonna be the moment.
or when I'm sitting on my sofa under a fluffy blanket with a glass of wine and I'm streaming my book, I'll be like, ah! And no, I'd probably be like with a bottle like this.
Well, just don't forget the little people on the way up, okay?
No, you know what? Honestly, for me, those are the people that are with you from the ground up are the people you stay with. Like, no new friends, no people who are just there for fake. No,
Mhm.
I think like the people who are down with you then and stay with you, that is real. Those are the people that you cherish. Those are the people you keep close to you. The people that come in later that are like, oh, let me, you got to watch it. You've got to be,
Mhm.
um, yeah, you discerning. But true
Exactly.
friends will always be like true friends, and they'll tell you, they'll be real. And yeah, it's good to have that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Let's talk a little bit about let's talk a little bit about your life as a transplant or an expat. Whatever you call
Yeah,
it,
yeah, an
living,
expat.
uh,
Love that.
making the jump from the U.S. to the U.K. Was that just business wise? Was that life wise, love wise? What was your main jump over there?
Yeah, I mean, I moved when I was 27, and I'm 43 now. And basically, I was in a relationship and had a child, and so I co-parent here now. So yeah, I'm here. I go back a lot for cons. All my family are still there, so I go back frequently. But my children are in school here. I have a life, and yeah, so that's kind of why I'm here. And it's nice culturally because it's quite easy to get to different parts of the world, and I've been very privileged and fortunate to like go to Spain and go to Italy and see different places and drive around the UK. And that's been such a blessing. But yeah, it's basically co-parenting. So
Mm,
my
What
kids
gotcha.
is
have their
what
mom
is
and dad.
what is I mean, we know what it's like to be, person of color here. I mean we get sort of spoiled being in, like you said, San Antonio or San Diego,
Yeah.
Southern California, where you're surrounded by people. But I imagine I also know what it's like to be like in Missouri or other places like that. So what part of that, is there a culture shock? Is there a downside there in being, or what's how does it translate being brown in the US versus being brown in the UK?
Um, it's definitely different in the sense that people think I'm Asian or or they think I'm from another country. The last thing they'll say is Mexican. Sometimes they think I'm Spanish, though I get Spanish.
Okay.
Um, but no, when I'm in the US, it's like, oh, she's a Mexican girl. It's quite obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But here, because there isn't a large Mexican community. Now there are quite a few South Americans, so there's a decent Brazilian population. And
Mhm.
but yeah, I actually have not experienced anything that would make me feel discriminated against or less than, which I'm very grateful. Um, and so yeah, I kind of, yeah, I'm really grateful for that. And same with my children, no issues, no problems.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
Do your kids have British accents?
yes.
I love that. Do you love that?
They're very cute. I'm just like, oh my God, how we grew up so different. Like I was running for the ice cream truck, like buying pickles and like
Oh my gosh.
and
Yep.
like and like, running through the sprinkler. It's hot all the time. I mean, staying out till like whatever o'clock, and my kids,
Hmm.
it's like so different.
Oh.
Their upbringing, but it's cute. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
adorable.
What do you
Yeah.
miss the most being over there?
The food.
The food. I was gonna
Yeah,
say salsa.
well, I can make my own. But yeah,
There you
I miss tamales. I
go.
miss proper chorizo. Um, I mean, when I go, I just eat like everything. And my family, just hanging out with my family, like just I went to New York not too long ago to see my sister, and we just hung out. It was great.
Mm,
And I love going to New York because I go to the botanicas.
mm.
Again, like walking down the street and hearing Latin music blasting from everywhere.
Yeah.
Um, it was quite a culture shock to walk down the streets of New York and just be blasted with weed smoke. Like you get into the subway and you're like, "Oh."
Yep. Freaking Subway. Yep.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, those kind of things are just, yeah.
Yeah, the culture, definitely.
The And so from watching the interview with Polly,
Mhm.
he brought up and you guys talked a little bit about like your belief system, or like, you know, like all the stuff, all the different cultures that bring up the Latinidad, whether it be like you know, naturalism or like spiritualism, like Santa Muerte, all these other stuff.
Mhm.
How do you let all that sort of things influence your writing? Is it, do you have to believe or be into everything that you sort of bring in there, or can you sort of learn about it, analyze it, you know, and then sort of just bring it into your work? How do you deal with that?
All of it's in my work because I believe it. I have
Okay.
like Santa Muerte all over my office. Santa Muertes. I have candles. I have two, statues. Um, and I burn Palo Santo. I have alternative beliefs. I believe in taking care of this planet. I believe in, loving those close to you with all your heart. I try to be a good person and a good soul, and always leave people, places, things better than I left them, or I just try to, yeah. And for me, it works. Whereas Christianity, going to Southern Baptist Church, going to Catholic Church, just was something that did not resonate with me. And maybe it was because it was forced, but also I didn't like the attitude towards people.
Yeah.
It just did not resonate with me. And so what I practice now does, and I think it's beautiful, and I write about it. If people don't agree with me, that's fine. We're all allowed to have different opinions. We're all allowed to believe different things, just as we all look different and come from different places. But for me, it is a part of who I am. And again, if people don't like it, they don't have to read my books,
Yeah.
What do you,
And they don't have to believe it either. It's just
no,
part
yeah,
of, it's
absolutely.
part of the story. Yeah, they could be like, "Oh, okay, I don't necessarily believe that, but it's a cool story," and
We got
that's
a
fine.
couple of we got a
I'm fine
couple
with
of questions coming in, but I
that.
wanted to ask you just a little bit follow up on that, because from when you see it, like for example, like in Breaking Bad with like the twins in the later seasons, and they're practicing the Santa Muerte and stuff like that, or like I've seen it in like episodes of like CSI or stuff like that. Do you consciously make an effort to put that there because it's portrayed in such a negative light in most mass media? Does that also go into it for you?
I actually have never seen that Breaking Bad or any. I honestly, I don't watch a lot of TV.
Okay.
Since I've started
No
writing,
worries.
my TV
Hmm.
is like that, and
Plummeted.
also,
Good.
um,
We can all learn from
and
that.
and well, it's just when you're on deadlines and people have paid you, you're
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I've been paid to write this book,
You're like,
so I think
You
I
don't
should
have to
have.
watch.
this
You
is
you
my
can binge
livelihood.
stuff. You can binge stuff like. All right, let's catch
Yeah,
up with a couple of comments here.
yeah.
Polly says I always get Midnight V when she comes on the slant. Absolutely. And the Latino slant to Mi Gente Show pipeline continues. If you could recast Vasquez in a new Alien movie, who would you like to see or like to cast?
That is a real
Ooh,
tough one. Actually,
yeah.
Sophia could be young Vasquez.
Young
Oh,
She
Vasquez.
could be
sick. Okay, I'll shave my
or
head.
you
I'll do
could or
whatever.
you could be or you no, you wouldn't need to. Or you could be
Sure.
young Leticia, her daughter. So basically,
Cool.
we that's a tough one because the answer is I don't know, because
Yeah.
you see in the book Vas Jeanette, from a
Mhm.
child to when she dies um, in space. And then Leticia, you see from like a teenager to a woman.
Mm.
So you would need like 6
Yeah,
Vasquez
different.
women. Um, so I don't know. Like I think there are so many amazing people that could be a part of that film.
Hmm.
And I'm
As a
manifesting it.
Yeah, as an excuse, who would you like to work with? Like actresses that could take on those roles, do you think?
Annie Gonzalez, Polly
Any
says.
of
I like what is her name? Isa
Oh,
Gonzalez.
Eiza Gonzalez. Eiza. Yeah,
I loved her in The Dusk Till Dawn.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I loved
I thought you
that.
said you didn't watch shows.
That was before. So I do
Okay.
watch stuff when I have like breaks.
Uh-huh.
But the thing is, as we were talking about earlier, as you get more momentum and more
Mhm.
books and more things, projects, they just end up like
Yeah. Adding
dogpiling,
it.
and you're like,
Yeah. Exactly. Oh, I love
yeah,
Melissa Gonzalez. Yeah, she came like she has a really lengthy career in Mexico too. Like she started out in telenovelas, like really good stuff.
yeah. I mean, there's so many people. I mean, I would love to see Salma Hayek as Rosanna, the Thea.
That would
She
be
would make a great Thea.
oh, Salma, yes. See, we need to get
You
cast. We need to get cast.
you
I know. Come on, Disney, make the
Disney.
where is call me?
Exactly.
uh,
You know, it's the one thing
Oh,
people are always talking about. They're like, when do we get this film? When is this film happening? And I'm like, light your Santa with the candles, and maybe it'll happen.
exactly.
No, just
Oh,
kidding.
we're gonna make it happen. Don't you worry.
Exactly.
I'm gonna annoy everyone on Twitter. Disney at Disney.
at Disney.
Yeah.
I did want to. I did want to follow up with you on the in the terms of processing and
Yeah.
the story,
Yeah.
because sometimes as a creative, as a writer, you come up with something, you start going through the process, and then you realize, oh, wait a minute, that's this,
Mhm.
right? Like, so do you have to? How do you sort of combat that like, do you have like as an author, do you have to vet other stories? Do you have somebody that you lean on to say, hey, I'm writing about this and this? Is this something that seems derivative of something else? And have you had a project that you were excited about that you stopped writing because you felt it was too similar to something else that you had maybe forgotten about, or that you had absorbed but weren't really conscious of?
I have never stopped a project for any reason. When I get an idea or I have something in my heart and I get a story, I stick with it because I love it. And typically with the books, if you get an editor and they're the ones that tell you yes,
Okay.
no, do that.
You're kind of close to this, or
Yeah, exactly. So usually the editors are the ones. You just write the book, polish it, get it to where it needs to be. You give it to, if you have an agent, then you give it to your agent and they'll kind of give you a little feedback, which is great. Like, hey, can you polish this up before we try to submit it? Or this doesn't quite work. Or, in publishing, there are word lengths. Like, this is too short for this genre. You need to add 20,000 more words or something. And so usually it's my agent and then the editor I'm working with whatever publisher the book is going to. Jenna or
She already has Wednesday, you guys. Stop trying to take my role, damn it.
she's getting crap because I
Oh,
guess
man.
she had COVID while she was filming the scene, and people
I think
started-
that's not her fault, though. I will say that. We'll talk about it later.
We'll talk about it later. All right.
Yeah, we'll talk about
Sophia, you have anything right now? As I fix my thoughts.
it.
As we
man,
check in on, let's check in on the dog cam real quick. There you go.
Okay.
Palate
They're
cleanser.
still licking themselves. Cool.
They're still licking themselves. All right. They're still in the bed licking themselves. That's what happens with the dogs.
I love it.
All
I
right, let
wanted
me
to ask just
go ahead.
I haven't read the book. I haven't had the time, but I want to really badly now. But
Thank you.
spoil it for me. What's Vasquez's sexuality? For me.
Both.
Yay! Okay, cool. I'm very happy about
Yeah,
that.
I wanted her to have, but I thought, why not?
Mhm.
By character, Sophia is
I love it.
bursting with flute flavor
I'm
now.
buying it right now. It's perfect.
Literally, like I thought, why not? Because there's so many characters that we don't touch on that
Mhm.
on their sexuality, and I wanted that to be very clear. And I was surprised they allowed me to explore relationships with both in the book.
Mm.
You do get to see that.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I was wondering, because I'm like, okay, well, she has children.
Nope,
But
she's
also,
both.
not gonna lie, she's very butch presenting. So my assumption
And
was
you will
gay.
find out. You'll find out why she has the short hair, the body, all of it. You get the reason why.
I'm excited. You've sold me. You've sold me.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Another satisfied customer.
As the night begins to creep in the UK
I
behind
know it's getting so
I
dark.
know, look,
It's kind of lovely.
Morning.
Yeah.
you. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good
And
morning.
over here, it's
and
just bright.
It's literally like
It is bright.
8:30 a.m. and I'm like, pouring my
Mhm.
glass of wine. Good morning,
We're over here
guys.
chugging coffee. Just
No,
like,
literally, I was going around my
Someone
room
brings me a
like,
martini. Thank you.
yeah, I was going around my room
as you
today, like putting
should.
up tape and putting up stuff on the windows. Like, I need to block this out a little bit. It's still too bright, but anyway, the things we do for coveted guest.
Oh.
Okay, here you go. So you have to be either killed by, you either have to die by getting eaten by a shark or a xenomorph. What do you choose?
Oh my God, because I love Jaws. I've always
Mm.
been a Jaws fan.
So chewed up in the ocean or burst, face hugged and burst out of stomach.
Oh,
Chest burster.
yeah. Okay.
Mhm.
It seems like a
Yeah.
quicker way to go, right? I don't know.
Yeah, and also that means that you've been able to be in space, and how cool would that be?
Mhm.
And then,
As opposed to you just fell off a Disney cruise.
That's true.
or yeah, you're like, oh, I'm going to
Disney cruise.
Australia and I'm gonna go swimming, and then it's like, well, that was a
Chomp.
fucking dumb idea.
That was it.
What
How do
do
you
you
feel
think?
about how do you feel about the Alien versus Predator movies?
So I actually originally pitched to write an AVP because I love AVP in concept. I really wanted to do an AVP, but for licensing issues, it just wasn't possible. So I I liked the one when they were in the Arctic. I have to say, it's not perfect, but it was fun. But that's about it.
Are
I
you
I think I need to write one. They
okay?
need to have me write one,
Mm,
a
do
proper
it.
one.
Yes.
And then how do you feel about like Prometheus?
Again, I think so. When I first saw Aliens, everybody knows the space jockey and kind of like how cool that is and how it kind of ignited this fascination. So I liked seeing. It wasn't a perfect story or a perfect film, but I liked seeing the engineers, like that part of that we hadn't seen before. Um, and actually, in this book, I wanted to include the engineers, and I was told I couldn't, so I didn't.
Mm.
Okay.
But it's a better book because it didn't go that way. If they somehow say, yeah, you can add the engineers, then I absolutely would and would love to write a history for them. But again, when it's not your thing, you can't. But yeah, I didn't mind Prometheus. I was entertained, and Meredith Vickers in Prometheus.
Oh yeah.
There's a
Nice.
Vickers in the book,
Ooh.
Ah,
so you
absolutely.
get a little something different.
Well, we
Oh yeah, that's yeah. What's her name?
Charlize
Charlize
Theron.
Theron. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you get
um
Jacob Vickers.
Oh,
a lot of people don't realize, but we made well, Sophia was too busy getting her master's degree to concentrate on acting while we were making this movie.
Sorry, Lou.
But we made a movie called Alien Story, which was a sci-fi. Well, the way I officially describe it is an allegory about the treatment of immigrants, as told through a sci-fi comedy.
Love it.
But we I named all the characters by giving them names from the Alien franchise. So they would be like something Murphy or something Big or something like that. So all the characters in Alien Story have at least one surname or part of a name
How
from
fun!
So it's definitely an incredible. It's definitely one of the top, franchises, IPs that you can be involved with. So the fact that you've been able to begin your career, write a variety of types of books, represent your culture, and put it out there, just make sure that we give you your flowers for that and give you props
Thank you
for
so much. Honestly,
representing
thank
that.
you. That means so much to me. The fact that La Raza, they're behind it, that they support it, because we need to see this. We need more of these stories, and that's it's publishing is not an easy industry. It's not an easy gig. So I'm sure like film and TV isn't either. So
No.
I really appreciate that, because there are times when you're just like, oh fuck. But
Is
yeah,
this for anything, right?
Yes. I think we all have been there, and it can be kind of a dark place and a low place, but having that support and knowing that it does matter is wonderful. And I love talking to, our people. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're always going to be welcome to come on if you have anything to
Oh,
promote or if you
yes.
just want to
Thank
hang out.
you.
So absolutely.
Yeah. Honestly, if there's new news, which I'm hoping. Also one little thing for
Mhm.
anyone wanting some Christmas horror with a little
Okay.
spice.
Uh-huh.
If you go on Amazon, I have a short ebook called Las Posadas.
Mhm.
And it's a bit of horror Christmas spice. Yes,
Okay,
Las
so
Posadas.
as we furiously go to Amazon and type that in so we can get it
Yeah, it's
for
just
your
a
book club.
novelette. It's really short. It's extremely short. It was a short story that I lengthened for Christmas and just as a little bonus.
What
I
is
love that.
what is your bookography now? Like how many total books or novels do you have under your belt now?
Ooh, I don't know, 6 or 7, 7, 7, 8,
Wow.
7, 8. Yeah, it's
man.
getting there. And then I have more coming out next year. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Man, how often do you write? Like, what's your schedule look like?
This is my full-time gig.
Oh, okay.
So every book people buy, sharing, retweet, reviewing, leaving a rating, it all counts. It all matters because this is like my gig. So yeah, I appreciate anytime people, buy the book, they share it. It's just fantastic. And I'm so appreciative of the readers and reviewers out there because it does make a difference. And, if writers, that they don't take the time for their readers, I mean, they're the ones keeping you in business. Like,
Mhm.
you got to make time. And I
No.
love the readers. Like, it's just nice to interact and talk shop and talk stories.
Mhm.
I
Well,
love it.
maybe Sophia, if you're nice to V, she'll let us give away one of her books on a future stream or something. Like,
Yeah, you should. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can absolutely send you guys after Christmas because in the UK they're
no, yeah.
we're having a postal strike.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we're having a postal strike. So, but
she put her-
yeah, absolutely. I'm more than happy to contribute a book for a giveaway. I'd love to.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Ooh, thank you.
we'd love to do that. Yeah, absolutely. I do know because I do connect with a few people in the UK that there is a Colombian sort of community in the UK. I know a couple of people on Twitter that are from Colombia, and I had a couple of cousins that moved to the UK because there was a couple of Colombian restaurants that they were working at. So I do know maybe
Nice.
so I'm sure there's and you're in London, right? Do you ever get out
Yeah,
to like
yeah.
the smaller cities, or
I
have you
try to go.
have you adopted a soccer team?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am just like, no. And I'm not, no.
No.
But yeah, I do drive around England. I love exploring different areas and different parts of the country. It's pretty cool.
Nice. So thank you for everybody that's joined in. We are wrapping up here with V Castro, author, and
Hi.
hopefully soon to be a major motion picture. Make sure
Mhm.
that
I
you
would
go
love
to
it. I would that we're putting it out there.
We're
Putting
we're
it out.
manifesting it. Yes.
We are
It's
manifesting it.
it's
Yes,
not
we
it's
are.
not a goal until you write it down or you say it out loud. So
Mhm.
that's definitely.
Oh yes, I've got all of my petitions.
So we go to make sure you guys go to vcastrostories.com and you'll be able to find out about her. And then you can read about the author. It's a very you got a little sexy little author picture there from her, Yeah, what I'm saying? drive some numbers with that picture
Yeah,
there.
you get more flies with honey.
Exactly. Mhm.
We had to put
It's
that on
working.
I was like, ooh, that picture's going on the thumbnail. Absolutely. And we already have Sophia. Are you SAG yet, Sophia, or are you saggy still for in terms of,
Saggy,
like,
yeah.
saggy? Okay, so yeah. Anyway, so we have so you got a director here, you got an actress, and if things happen, if you have to do it with a big budget, you do it with a big budget. If you have to do it on the indie level, then you do it on the indie level. So you got to make at some point we got to make one of your movies.
Honestly, I am absolutely read through Mestiza Blood. choose a short story or choose Out of Aztlan. Sophia, you would be amazing in Goddess of Filth. Actually, I think you would be. You would be. Yeah, you should.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
And
right.
but
Right,
yeah, honestly, read Out of Aztlan or read Mestiza Blood, and I'm happy to do an indie thing with one of the short stories to get it going. Honestly, I'd love that.
Yeah, absolutely.
good to
We
get the
got
ball rolling, yeah.
we could do like the equivalent of the Stephen King Dollar Babies. Are you guys familiar with that? Are you familiar with the Dollar Babies at all for
No.
Stephen King?
No.
Stephen King, and this is for all filmmakers out there. Stephen King has a thing called Dollar Babies, which means that for $1 he will rent you. He will rent you the rights to any of his short stories. So if any filmmaker out there wants to take one of Stephen King's shorts for $1, you send him a buck, and you have the right to adapt any of his stories, which is really cool. So I always like it when authors put stuff like that out there. So
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would totally write the screenplay, and we'd just get it going. But check out those 2 short story collections, and because they're easy enough to do something really fun and indie. And Out of Aztlan. Yeah. There's some cool stories in there, and they're easy enough to shoot.
You get hired to either do like a 22, or you got an offer in front of you. This is always my this and that questions. You get you can spend the next 20 weeks on a book tour all across Europe and the USA, or you can spend the next 20 weeks adapting a story for an Alien prequel. So you can sit in a room and write a script for an Alien prequel, or you can go on book tour for a new Alien book for 20 weeks. Which one do you choose?
Write the script.
Write the script. Put her in a room.
Girl, yeah. For me, I got goals. Okay, the script, 100% the script.
All right. I love.
I'm a hermit. I always joke like I'm a hermit. I don't go nowhere.
Really? So you're kind of a recluse. You enjoy staying in and writing, and What are your hours? Do you work normal? 9 to 5 hours.
Yeah,
and then you stop writing. Or?
Yeah. Unless like when my kids are around, and if there's something that's pressing, then I'll write at night. But yeah.
Okay. Sounds healthy.
And we were going to ask you about this. What was your reaction to the Queen?
Oh yes.
Oh, I don't know.
Were you like die conquistadors die, or were you like were people really like that freaked out about it over there? Or?
Yeah.
Really?
People were just walking around sad.
Yeah. Did people around you cry? Yeah, that's
you can see it on the news. I was like, she was old.
Yeah,
she had a good life.
She was rich and old. She had a full life. Yeah.
I honestly was like, we get a holiday, okay? Like that's like disruption. My kids are not in school.
Wait, kids went home during the grieving period?
Yeah, they had a day off.
Oh,
they got to grieve. Come on,
interesting.
This is a major thing. There was a 90-year-old woman that died.
So they must love it. They must be like, I don't know what happened, but this is amazing. We get a day off.
And I wanted to do one.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I wanted to do one die conquistador die. Absolutely. Because we're boycotting the World Cup because Mexico and Uruguay both lost. But I was rooting for Morocco, and when they were playing Spain, and I do get a certain level of like happiness when I see white people and the Spaniards like sad for some reason. I'm sorry, a little bit, like just like they had a shot of like these 2 little Spanish kids like crying in the stands, and I was like.
You're like, yeah.
You should go get on a boat and go home.
Yeah.
All right. I saw this. I wanted to share with you guys. We'll do a little palate cleanser, and then we'll get out of everybody's way. Here you go.
Televisa presenta.
El loco de tu novio casi hace que me maten. Y yo soy
This is Andor as a telenovela.
Oh my God, this is so awesome.
Oh my God.
Ya no vas a tener que preocuparte por mí.
It's so accurate. This
So painful.
I know. This I would watch. The dramatic turn.
Oh my God. La abuela, la tía.
I love this. Years.
I mean, all the feels.
All the feels. This is great.
This is so cool.
I love the internet.
Who did this?
TikTok, I am Melly McKenzie on TikTok.
Oh my God, I love it.
Not now.
That was badass. That was
Yeah,
badass.
that was great. I love the internet sometimes.
I know, right?
That was the best thing I saw. All right, so it's 9:00 here. The dogs are hungry, and it's wrapping down for the UK. So I do want to thank Miss V. Castro Violet for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you
I
so
really
much.
appreciate it. Thank you.
We love what you're doing with your stuff and for the community. So thank you.
What did we learn today?
That means so much to me.
Yeah, we learned that we have a badass Latina writer holding it down in the UK. She's got 6 or 7 books that you can check out. Go to bcastrostories.com and find her books. Find her on Amazon. Support her.
Yep.
She's coming to Comic-Con hopefully next year, so we'll be able to say hi.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I just did London Comic-Con. That was pretty fun. That was cool. And I did San Diego in the summer.
Oh, man, we missed you. Just by a little bit.
But I'm going to be sending you some links to some of our work so you can see Sophia in action and myself.
I would love that. I would love that. And
I will say,
you.
in my defense, I've taken acting classes since and gotten a lot better. Okay? Okay?
Be quiet.
Hey,
Stop
you're
it.
probably amazing.
Stop it. All right. And thank you, Def Kiss, for joining us. Thank you, Polly, for stopping by. Thank you, everybody that stopped by. We're going to be we're going to save that giveaway for when we have one of these books to give away later in the year or after Christmas. We'll
let's do it after Christmas when all the strikes are over.
Yeah, and then as soon as you got other stuff, or if you just want to hang one day, because we do like anonymous advice, we do pop culture stuff. So if there's another time that you're getting bored, just hit us up. We'll have you on.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right. So thank you everybody for joining us today on early morning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna feed you right now. Relax.
Good morning.
Wow.
It's like it's 9. He's like it's 9 a.m. What the hell?
I know. Everybody's like, oh my God, why does she have so much energy that early? Because it's evening here.
Meanwhile, my other dogs are still sleeping, but the young one is like, come on, it's breakfast
Yeah, I
time.
know. Mine started yelping too during the pod. I'm like, what do you need?
So V, thank you very much. If you want to hang out for like 60 seconds, we'll come back and do a post real quick. But for everybody else, thank you very much for joining us.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Live and direct.
tuning
Thanks for everybody for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe, share the streams, and you can go to Mi Gente Show. Just find us anywhere you get your podcast, Mi Gente Show. It's helping us a lot. We're doing like 300 plus downloads an episode, and that's thanks to you, the listeners, the viewers. We record live on Thursdays, and the pod goes out live to all podcast locations on Monday or Tuesday mornings. Thank you out, mi gente. Gracias.
Hasta luego.
We're out.
Vamos, papá, hay que irnos. Me estoy aguantando desde que pusieron el domo.
Puedes esperar. Muchas personas trabajaron en esta película y solo quieren que te aprendas sus nombres de memoria.
Y yo quiero asegurarme de que ningún animal resultó lesionado durante la filmación de esta película.
¡Listo! ¡Uy, palomitas en el suelo! Oh.
Espera, parece que Maggie tiene algo que decir. Es su primera palabra.